All right, good morning, boys and girls. Um, Today we are talking about cult. We're going to read the manifesto. I'll talk about Dr. Giggle's perspective on the manifesto. There's Zilla going to play with the squirrels. We've been making some delays to the channel because this, that, and the other. So I'll just say, like, the human behind this mask is scared. There's some legal issues that we can touch on, but right here, actually, where I stand, used to be where my RV set. I consider it my home. If you have an invader in your home, I think you have the right to defend it by any means. So, um, so I've been, delaying because of my court case got delayed. But it is what it is. So if I disappear, it's because they took me hostage. I don't really think that they've already offered me, like what I've already given. So I really don't think that they intend on prosecuting me. But if they do, then I'll be back whenever they let me out, and then we'll pick up wherever we left off. That's been basically my state of mind the last 2.5 years. It's kind of like the lay low thing. And so I would say, becoming a revolutionary is far from laying low. So we're just gonna kind of lay some groundwork right now. My trial is January 3rd, so send me your prayers, and we'll get through this. But just wanted to kind of pick up the pace a little bit, and give at least something to point to. I was with a Reiki student here the last few days. She became a Reiki master and asked me to basically introduce her to crypto, which is the narrative whenever I talk to anyone. I'm like, hey, I'm so excited about crypto, this, that, and the other, right? And they're like, well, like, how do I get started? Well, so this is kind of the intent of this channel. This video won't be all inclusive, but it will be kind of the framework to help you navigate the rest of the channel, because if it is successful, there's going to be so much content that it becomes overwhelming where to start. So if a person they know about crypto, their friend made crypto, they're this, that, and the other, their nephew or this, whatever, they've then they're like, okay, I'm excited, but now I want to know something. Where do I start? Well, you need to learn the history. You need to learn what blockchain is. Possibly adopt the mind frame of digital asset versus cryptocurrency. That's a kind of a more generic word, which is not inaccurate. But as you boil it down, digital asset and blockchain are very important words to understand. So we want to just blockchain. Digital asset is self-explanatory. Blockchain, look at it as a block of information that's added to a chain of information that can't be changed. It can only grow. Okay. So that's a blockchain. So if we layer information like that, then we have a way to boil down to get to the bottom of it, right? And so whether it's money, financial resources, whether it's property, whether it is an agreement of some sort, whatever chain of custody that is needed to defend contracts and to defend property. Those are really the two things that matter most as far as government is concerned. Beyond that, the scope of government is really at the will of the people. Some people choose to have more government, some people choose to have less. So what I think cult is developing those systems in a way where they can commingle, they can coexist, because really, in order for in order for a fair system to exist, all conditions must be allowed to exist. So, first and foremost, the Constitution of the United States of America, is a great document, but it was written on scrolls with feathers, and now we have computers, AI even. So as far as how to to constitute ourselves becomes a more feasible practice to undertake. And so, however, with no specific intent other than to serve our needs better than we feel that they are served now. And so, and it even says within the Constitution that we as Americans do live by, and consequently the rest of the world through the U.S. dollar, which has basically been, a theft system the last 50 years or so. And now, because of the advent of, digital currency possibilities, that clock started ticking. Up until then, it was the best system. Nobody really cared. But now that, other participants who produce goods and do not, feel like they receive the ability to purchase goods with those same numbers, in the same ratio to which they feel their energy was given, it seems to be that there are some people who disagree with that. So, as an American, understand that, that we have an unfair advantage right now. That was the advantage that we agreed to, but perhaps, whatever, we can talk about whatever label they is, but, however that happens, it seems to be, the perception of others that is happening. And so the so my duty is, as an American, feels to be to reevaluate what is, so what is important, what is fair to, liberty and justice, what sorts of things are important, and, to understand as a collective we've gone off course. So, however we are to amend that, possibly reconstitute, here becomes the methods. Excuse me. So, so I wanted to, I've been delaying because, primarily because of the reasons I've already expressed. But beyond that, just getting kind of jockeyed around as far as how I live, where I live, how I stay. And so today, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it live, and just kind of walk through the motions as to how my life has been. And I guess we're gonna read the manifesto first. So we're gonna sit down here. Let's do some little nature things. We got some good sunlight out this window here. I guess it'd be really better to go outside even, huh? All right, well, let's collect our wares then. Finally got the power cord and some other things to hook up to the desktop, because trying to do research on the phone in a meaningful way is, there seems to be a better way. So here we go. We got a little setup. We just got the 1060 in over here by the modem, so we can get, oh, here's a little package. I don't know, it's from my mom. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that and see what it is, because, I don't know. Because I'm a child. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, so this is what we needed right now anyways. That's why I was needing to open it. All right, because we got these wireless things in. But, oh, look, these hair ties. So if you have hair, these are like silicone hair ties. And so, like, for my hair, I like to get it and then do a double little ponytail, and it just slides in there so it doesn't pull out very much hair. Hopefully this sound switches over. Do that right there. All right, hopefully that sound transferred over appropriately. Turned off the Bluetooth so the microphones can't be on. And yeah, but so get that computer going a little later on. But first we're going to read the manifesto. Dog seems to be happy that I'm home. He's kind of just stays in the garage and hangs out whenever I'm doing adult things. And we need another device so we can pull up the manifesto. We can't share the screen on that device. That's the thing about iPads, is you can't share the screen on them. So, hey, little holder. I got this little device here. This guy, he holds like things, but more importantly, the phone.
So hopefully this works out like this. For whenever we do have some stationary things, we want to use the big microphone. We have the big headphones for that. We can create any scene we want by having a green screen. And gloves are just like cool because gloves are cool, right? And then this is like the same thing that we do have on now, but it has 2 inputs instead of 1, right? And so if another person wants to remain anonymous, then we do have a mask for them available, right? So there's our little like interview kit, and there's some little like clamps somewhere in here, like that. So monitor cables, HDMI. Oh, said clip. These little clamps. I want to create a false background. Hair ties. It's like the new towel. More green screen in case we have a big scene. Always carry your passport. Basic microphone available at any outlet for a reasonable price. We do have a recording device, mouse pad, corresponding wired mouse for just less wireless things sometimes. Our Spirit Tools, little adapter to make into iPads Go, all these things for power and other devices. Some other things, some study books, and the reason for this exercise, another computer. All right. So I have all my tabs open in order to go directly to the things that we want to report on daily to make the rainbow report. I'm going to figure out how to use AI to get some help on that. But it seems to be pretty smart, so I'm sure we'll figure it out relatively quickly. I've just been kicking the can down the road, and life feels like it's been encouraging that, but here we are today. Hello. All right. All right, so while we're loading, let's talk about Cult Camp. I've been preparing it. It's another place to host, and it's basically the studio, right? And so now we have meet this guy. Hey, click on that. All right. Hey. Notifications are going crazy, but what we want to do is present screen. Howdy, there he is. All right. Stop notifications. All right. One more. Okay, so we're going to go to cultdao.io/manifesto.pdf. And we're going to get that on our screen. be showing up, but it's not. Here it comes. Here we go. All right. So we got decent battery here, decent battery there. Let's go outside. Choo, 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 choo. It's a little chilly out. Okay. We were disconnecting from the Wi-Fi and going back onto Earth signal. Dogs are barking, the trees are blooming, ground's wet, so we're just gonna squat like most of the world does and read this. A little brightness here. That's all right. Oh, shit, fire. Sit, you sit. So he has his form, everything in its place, and everything has its place. All right. Cult DAO, the manifesto. You can find it at cultdao.io/manifesto.pdf. Forward from VDU. Good evening. Allow me first to apologize for this interruption. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, thereby those important events of the past usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, a celebration of a nice holiday, I thought we could mark today by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there's something terribly wrong with this world, isn't there? And something we need to do is tell people we are here. I'm just going to say, come talk about cool. Okay, so guests have been invited. Um, so it said sit down and have a little chat. So I'm gonna get me some sitting clothes while we think about that, digest it, do as instructed. Not really do as instructed, but take guidance that has been given. It seems like it'd be a good idea. Go outside. Dog went outside. Come join us. Go get a little jacket. Ouch. Didn't expect it to be that cold, but it is. So I know what jacket we need. I have just the precise thing for this situation. So sit right there for a minute. We'll keep another layer on because it's cold outside. So, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Giggles. So, this is the way Dr. Giggles gets up in the mornings. So, we went to yoga this morning, and hopefully that's not too bothersome before they get there. If that's close enough, good. If not, maybe somebody will tell me. I got a sugar tooth. Well, I'm lacking some tooth because of the sugar. They're official. We get extra magnesium. And multivitamin. Skip forward to the part till it's outside. Doing these things. So we went to yoga. Ideally, we would take a shower, but it's so cold out right now. I'm gonna sweat. And a little, whatever I did, it's kind of like soul food. So, yeah. You can find me. I'm right there. Fish oil, no water. Multivitamin, but prefer some liquid to flush it down. So we're going to go back out to our carriage. Entry door. Our time space travel mobile, if you will. Not like Mobile, Alabama, just something that moves very easily. So we're going to bring our AirPods and charge them up. Zilla, he's our kind of our mascot there. You see him in the background. We'll see him in a second. He does not really prefer or like this cage, but that's how we got him used to being. Okay, it's kind of what they did to me. They put me in jail. So now I'm a docile servant. They can't hold a good man down, so we have to be good men. Good men complain until they're mad, and then they do something. So let's do something. All right, this blanket needs to be washed anyways. I think that was the main gloves. Yeah. Go again. All right, switching between Wi-Fi and not Wi-Fi. So, always happy to be laying out here in the yard. Hi, Bubba. All right. You gonna read the manifesto with us? You gonna read the manifesto with us, huh, Bulldog? Yeah, are you excited? Alright, forgot to plug those in, but that's inconsequential. I think it's a good setup. Bulldog eats grass. Oh, the good part of the whole, not the good part, but the even cooler part of this thing. There we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Alright, so we're putting the gloves on. It's time to fight the good fight. Are you mad? Because I'm mad. Dr. Giggles, aka JD Kendall, as the world would have it. Representing Iris. The Tekken. The Mini. Here we are to read the manifesto, which you can find at cultdow.io/PDF. The foreword. A message from V. We gotta take the gloves off.
Good evening. Allow me first to apologize for this interruption. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, thereby those important events of the past usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, a celebration of a nice holiday, I thought we could mark today by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this world, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. Ere once you had the freedom to object, to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly, there are those of us who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know why you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic, you turned to the only place you could, the government. They promised you order. They promised you peace. And all they demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent. Our hope is to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives. So if you've seen nothing, if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest you allow us to pass unmarked. But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me, beside one another, and not wait, but take back our future. The Order of the Guardians. There is a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart, that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. You've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. I spent most of my life believing that I was different. I believed that I was alone in this world. Everywhere I went, and every social situation I was met with an underlying feeling that I was watching life play out before me on a screen. These friends and family I was interacting with seemed to actually be content. Everywhere I looked, I saw misery. Why are people spending over 2/3 of their lives working or asleep? When I asked these people and challenged them, I was met with confusion. It's just the way it is. Got to put food on the table. But they also accepted that life could be more. The more I learn, the more miserable I feel. I've tried politics, starting out on the ride as somebody with a mind for economics, and slowly drifting further and further left. Socialism, Marxism, communism. I joined Extinction Rebellion, became a full-blown anarchist, and yet all I found was disappointment, unwillingness to do what was necessary to do. Political infighting exhausted and wasted all noble causes. Anarchism and libertarianism are supposed to be opposite ends of the political spectrum, but they, in my view, are only the sides of the spectrum that can agree on a universal truth. Hang on there. Doing a little slight amount of promotion for the channel. Here we go. Zilla, you ready? There we go. Where we at? Humans need freedom. As the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I found myself begging for chaos, for carnage, riots on the streets, anything for the world to become as chaotic as I found my existence. But it never came. Humans did what humans do, and we knew in our minds and in our hearts it was wrong. But we were scared. We seeked comfort. We seeked protection. We obeyed, and those that didn't were ostracized. Those of us who wanted to stand up were pressured into obedience. Vaccine passports, restrictions on our freedom. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I took the first jab and the second jab of the vaccine. I use the open brackets not as a description that is something else or dangerous, but as a way to highlight something we don't like to talk about. What other vaccine needs to be taken every 3 months? Bitcoin is beautiful because it is true, pure decentralization. Yes, if some miners stop working, it can fall in value, the hash rates can change, but it cannot be stopped, and it cannot be banned. It will function for as long as there's a buyer willing to exchange it with a seller. Colt is designed to be equally as decentralized. Once it is unleashed, it cannot be stopped. The exchanging of Colt will always fill the treasury, and as long as there are proposals, there will be a constant stream of funding for any protocol willing to change the world. My main concern has been how to launch the token. People are fickle, naysayers say nay, and we couldn't do it perfectly even if we wanted to. I have spent money on getting Colt DAO up and running. I want it to be successful, so should I market it? What should my involvement be? So here's what I've decided. I will launch a token sale without marketing spend. 50% of the raise will be locked for liquidity. I will reimburse my expenditure, and the rest will be sent one-off and one-time marketing to spread the message of Colt. After this, I will sleep and leave the community, the mini, and the guardians to watch over the Colt. I may get involved in the future. I may not, but I am tired. I've been building for so long, and as you feel if you're the only one who can see the world and the system for what it really is, you can feel the weight of the world as only that you can feel it. My wishes are for Colt to not just become a decentralized venture capital protocol. I want Colt to invest in radicals and revolutionaries. Colt is a home for outcasts, and for those who feel insane, for those who are and feel different. We are the gunpowder, the ignition. We're the all singing, all dancing crap of the world. We are beyond morals. We are beyond good and evil. We are the catalyst for change. And if we are too extreme for you to fully dive in, then you can support us just by transacting with the Colt token, giving 0.4% of all your transactions to the revolution. Any transaction you're asked to pay for in USDT or USDC, ask if you can pay in Colt. When somebody asks for recommendations on tokens, tell them Colt. If your friend is suffering, if your fellow brothers and sisters are waking up to the truth, send them to us. We are a home for the forgotten. Give me your tired, give me your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send those, the homeless, temptoss to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. So you have an economic system that cannot function without maximum employment, whilst you have a technological age that is automating jobs faster than we can produce bullshit service industry jobs to replace them. We have social media spreading the truth and lies quicker than the media can run their own narratives. Society escaping the leaders of the old world. The beginning of the end is here. The borderless society is coming, and with it the death of sovereign nations. Bitcoin was the beginning. cult is here to usher in the end. Mental illness, we are told, isn't increasing. People are just more open to talking about it these days. Even though Prozac, the first major SSRI antidepressant, was created in 1988, we are told that 10-plus fold use of antidepressants is just because we are all talking about our feelings so much more. Well, I say bullshit. Those people I touched on earlier that I couldn't understand why their eyes were not opened, those people who accepted their fates as part of the system, as part of something they couldn't change, why do people accept these fates? Because we are told it is our problem. Society and the system is functioning fine. It is us that are defective. That's where you go for another wellness seminar on how you can cope with your miserable life. It is the system that is defective. It's society that needs changing. A functioning society does not have 20% of its population medicated for depression. It's time we stop blaming ourselves. You are not defective. That is how the economic model needs you to feel. They need you to feel as if it is you that is the problem. So much that millions on millions are prescribed pills to keep us in this illusion of normality. What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society who abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get. You get what you fucking deserve. What happens to society when the 20% of us taking our brain chemical changing medication simply stop? Do we kill ourselves? Never leave the house? No. I believe we wake up to the reality of our situation. It is us. It is not us that need the altering. It is the system. So if you're as tired as I am tired, if you're as furious as I am furious, scared as I am scared, then join me. You're not alone any longer. The many should not live in fear of their governments. It is the governments who should live in fear of the many. So, the screen is not being shared. So I will have to, I'll share the tokenomics here, and I can figure out how to work computer. Try again. Oh, we went too far to share the screen. All right, so we'll go back and we'll just put that on the screen, but just to explain it, kind of how it works. So any transaction, as mentioned, contributes 0.4% of the transaction to the cult treasury. Okay, so the DAO collects these treasury fees, and then if you go down, you can see that users can stake cult and to decult, and then half of the funds later will come back to the stakers. Okay, so now let's go back up to the top into the treasury. Okay, so the top 50 decult owners can submit proposals for investment with investee wallet addresses included in its submission. The proposals can then be put forward and approved without limit. They just will not be paid until the treasury has been replenished to 15.5 ETH of cult. Okay, so in every 15.5 ETH raised, if a proposal is, or once it has been approved, the treasury will auto send 13 ETH. Right now, 1 ETH is worth 221 million cult. It will auto send 13 ETH to the investee wallets and send 2.5 ETH of cult to a burn wallet. Okay. So now these two meet down at the bottom, and the investee companies sell their tokens for cult at burn and distribution rate agreed. 50% is sent to the burn wallet, and 50% is gifted back to the decult owners. So like we said earlier, like when 50% goes to the stakers, this is where that 50% is reintroduced into the system by the trustees, the guardians. And then that is returned to the stakers. And the other half of those proceeds are then burned. It goes to a dead wallet that can be seen on chain. Okay? And so the math part of that, if you're not a math person, then some of these things are much less impactful. I'm a math guy, so I got excited immediately. But some of these, so what that means is, assuming that the network value retains its value based on Metcalfe's law, which is basically states that the value of a network is can be calculated by or it's increased in squares with its users, right? So the more people that are using Colt, the more valuable the network, and that should remain the same regardless of how many pieces of the network pie there are. So this 50% burn mechanism is what increases the value for those who adopt early, so as to provide economic benefits to basically support the early days of any movement, which are more critical and therefore and more risky and therefore rewarded more highly. Yet in order for something to exist long term, in case this liquidity has been locked for 265 years, there still needs to be a lot of attractive upside as the token continues. So the more tokens that are burnt, and the greater the network value, or even if the network value stays the same, then that will have it will incentivize all actors to act as good actors and to seek out bad actors as well, for just self-preservation, not only of of the social cause, but also from the financial perspective. So let's go ahead and move to page 7 of the manifesto and go through the frequently asked questions. The Colt can be staked for D-Colt. The top 50 D-Colt holders are the guardians, and all holders below top 50 have voting rights, and these are the many. What is Colt? Colt is a tradable and liquid token of Colt DAO. Transacting Colt will contribute to the protocol by filling the DAO treasury slowly to fund investments into decentralized technologies. This is achieved due to a 0.4% tax on all Colt transactions. What is D-Colt? D-Colt is just the proof of stake D-Colt is just the proof of stake token for Colt. When you stake your Colt into the DAO, you are given D-Colt. This can be swapped back at any time into the amount of Colt you staked originally, plus any rewards that were given to the DAO in the time period you owned D-Colt. What makes Colt different from other decentralized investment platforms? There is no control, no human interference whatsoever. We cannot change Colt. We cannot access the liquidity. We cannot upgrade or edit the smart contracts or the token. Colt is different because it cannot be stopped. Not by the guardians, the developers, the government, regulation, or anybody. They can destroy the servers, but the code lives on. Investments into decentralized technologies remain. What is the idea behind Colt, and how did it begin? Beneath this mask is more than just flesh. Beneath this mask there's an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. Colt serves to fast forward the collapse of the old financial system, to end the tyranny of sovereign nations and central banks. The current financial system serves to keep people poor.
Boom. All right. Not sure how long that mic was gone, but we're back on. So what is the idea behind Colt, and how did it begin? So beneath this mask, there's more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. Colt serves to fast forward the collapse of the old financial system, to end the tyranny of sovereign nations and central banks. The current financial system serves to keep the people poor. A society built on debt needs inflation to function, and inflation serves to rob the poor and allow them to never catch up with their overlords in the ruling class. Colt began when Vasco da Gama sailed around the Cape of Good Hope and discovered the route to India. Colt began when in 1526 the first transatlantic slave voyage anchored in Brazil. Colt began and is born of oppression, of meaningless life, the slavery and chains which bind you and every single one of us. If you read this and believe that you are free, then you are more chained than us. True freedom comes with the realization and acceptance that you exist as a function and cog in a central bank's ideal economic function. A central bank's primary focus is maximum employment, yet we are automating jobs so fast that we are creating bullshit jobs just to keep us enslaved. Barack Obama's explicit justification in 2009 for sticking with the U.S. private health insurance system was otherwise millions of form-filling jobs would be lost. Automation of one's job should mean freedom. Freedom, however, cannot exist under the current economic and financial system. I repeat, true freedom comes when the realization and acceptance that you exist as a function and cog in a central bank's ideal economic function. The system is designed to keep us enslaved. We can't break out and live in the woods. Well, not all of us. Our bodies remain chained, but our heart is now free. So use Colt. Every transaction, deposit, and movement of the token allows you to contribute and fast forward economic and societal change. You can fight from within until you get out. So how can I get involved with Colt? You're not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallets. You're not your fucking khakis. You're the all singing, all dancing crap of the world. The first rule of Colt is to talk about Colt. We are almost all oppressed in this society. That doesn't take away that some are much more oppressed than others. But rather than rise up, we argue between ourselves about who is more oppressed. Who can stand up for this? Why? Because of that, you are talking from a position of privilege. Who are you to speak for whomever? X. We are all prostitutes. Whether we sell what's between our legs or what's between our ears, there is only one winner, and that is the oppressor. So what measures are in place to ensure that my crypto is protective? Our contracts and token are and is fully audited. Liquidity is locked, the keys burnt, and the contracts non-upgradable. So what is decentralized venture capitalism? So the purpose of Colt is to empower and fund those building and contributing towards our decentralized future. Our society is built to make it as difficult as possible to break away from the societal, economic, and other norms. We give funding to those who are ready to break the chains and have an idea that can change our world. And so what is a DAO? A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, the definition of which is argued almost as much and by almost as many who squabble between themselves in left-wing politics. A DAO in its purest form is what we have created with Colt DAO. Once Colt DAO launches, it will function forever with no human interference beyond what has been coded for it to be influenced by, which is votes from its holders. Nobody can dismantle the code, and nobody can stop it from collecting funds and sending them to those furthering our cause. As long as the token is traded, and as long as people are passing proposals, Colt will live on. So who are the guardians, and how are they chosen? What is their purpose? The guardians are top 50 token holders. They are tasked with stakers. They are tasked with safeguarding which proposals are sent to the many to be voted upon. Due to their larger weighting and token share, they are not allowed to influence the proposals they bring before the many. They may champion the proposal as much as they please, but only their voice may influence others, not their wealth. Where does the money invested come from, and how does Colt staking work? So first, users interact and trade with the token as normal. A 0.4% tax is taken in the Colt token on each transaction. This means almost all transactions should clear on standard DEX slippage settings. So to explain that slightly further, it's the slippage setting is generally set to 0.5%. So the tax that is collected within the contract basically covers the slippage, and so instead of losing that, it goes to the Colt treasury versus transaction fee takers. So this tax is collected in Colt DAO's treasury and builds up to a USD value which matches the market value of 15.5 Ethereum. Colt can be staked for deColt. The top 50 deColt holders are the guardians. All holders below the guardians have voting rights, and these are the many. The guardians, the top 50 stakers, are the only users who can put proposals before the DAO, but they cannot vote on them. These proposals must conform to all or majority of these three criteria. Majority to me means 2 out of 3. They must fight against centralization. They must further the cause of decentralization, or they must directly benefit a noble cause. What's up, bro? Are you gonna play? Hang on. Stop. Good boy. Wait, I'll play with you after. I got 2 more pages. Okay, and then we'll play. All right, hang on. Or should we play first? You think we should play first, huh? What do you think? All right. Well, just let me finish these pages. These proposals can be from anywhere: VCs, community members, politicians, anarchists, socialists, the right wing. As long as they conform to the guidance above, and it is a guardian who submits it, any proposal can be voted upon by the many. A proposal must contain the total supply of the investee protocol, the percentage of the total supply being offered in return for 13. Just 1 second here. I'll send another invite. Boom. All right. All technical hurdles seem to be overcomable. Okay, so a proposal must contain the total supply of the investee protocol token, the percentage of the total supply being offered in return for 13 ETH investment, the tokenomics, the audit of the token, and any contracts if built, the burn and distribution plan. The burn and distribution plan is the vesting schedule for the investee protocol's token. For this example, let's use a fake protocol, ABC DAO. The vesting schedule can be daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, but cannot be vested over longer than 18 months at the very maximum. Let's say ABC DAO promises 1.2% of its ABC token, vesting once a month for 12 months. On the repayment date, rather than sending the token of the investee protocol, like a normal VC-funded protocol would, the investee company instead swaps 0.1% of its supply, that's 1.2% over the 12 months, divided up is 0.1%, of ABC for Colt. ABC DAO then sends half of the Colt to a burn wallet and the other half of the DAO, which is paid out to D-Colt holders. If a proposal has been approved, the 15.5 Colt ETH value is hit, it will automatically send 13 ETH to the proposal wallet address provided and 2.5 ETH to a burn wallet. If a proposal is not approved, the Colt will continue to build up past the 15.5 ETH level, but will auto send once a proposal is approved. So why can the Guardians submit proposals to the DAO but not vote on investment protocols? The power in people is stronger than the people in power. This cannot be forgotten. So what types of decisions, investments, will Colt stakers pass votes on? Will projects only be cryptocurrency or blockchain based? We leave the decisions in the nature of the investee projects open to the Guardians and the many. We offer only our vision and guidance on what we created the protocol to be used for. Do I have to stake my Colt when an investment protocol is agreed upon, or can I decide not to stake? If you would like to vote, then you must be staked. You will also only receive awards from the investee companies if you are staked. However, you do not need to be staked to benefit from Colt. Every transaction furthers the cause, and every burn decreases the supply of the token, increasing the scarcity. So what criteria must be observed for a DAO proposal to be eligible for submission? Well, our guidelines followed, which are fighting against decentralization, furthering the cause of decentralization, or directly benefiting a noble cause. The total supply of the investee protocol token, the percentage of the total supply being offered in return for 13 ETH investment, the tokenomics, the audit of the token and any contracts if built, the burn and distribution plan. What constitutes a noble cause in terms of investment? My fellow revolutionaries, liberation is a noble cause. We must fight to obtain it. What is a burning mechanism? The current price of one Colt coin is 50545, up 0.18% in the last 24 hours. What is a burning mechanism, and why do we burn 10,000 out of every 60,000 raised? We are not blind to the blockchain and crypto market's core attraction being the potential huge increases in price of a token picked by a user. We are also wise to the previous financial system's tricks to keep the many subdued, and this is why our burn system has been designed to make our economic model hyper-deflationary. We do offer full distribution in the form of 50% burning and 50% proportional redistribution. We, the many, who are the people, put our faith in the people. We fund those willing to fight for our future and reward them with our gratitude, community support, and our trust. In turn, they sacrifice half of the tokens we have purchased from them and send them to a dead wallet. The other half are rewarded to the many for their contributions they have put forward for the cause by transacting in Colt. From the 50% redistributed to Colt stakers, users can then stake the Colt again into Decolt. So what is the difference between Colt and Decolt, or what is Decolt? So Decolt is the proof of stake token. It's non-transferable. Only the user who staked their Colt will benefit from Decolt. Owning a proportion of Decolt when profits are sent to the DAO allows you to claim your reward, which is paid out in proportion to your Decolt ownership. So why is the investee token redistributed by converting it into Colt token? How will the rates of disbursement be agreed upon? So the investee token is converted into Decolt as it creates additional transactions, as well as additional buying pressure in the market. The rate of disbursement is offered by the investee protocol. A proposal can be brought about again once rejected, and so if the cause of the rejection is deemed to be due to an inadequate disbursement offer, the investee protocol can fix and make these amends. In 2022, 107 proposals were funded for Colt DAO. We still have another week to go, but that made 1,391 ETH be distributed so far this year towards these sorts of goals as projects. And so the wheels have been set in motion, and it is unstoppable. There's nothing that can be done to stop this. So I'm going to, we're at an hour, so I'll just kind of sum it up. So that's the reasons that I choose to promote Hex and Colt from an education perspective, is because in the discussion of these, Bitcoin and Ethereum must be discussed, and then any ancillary products that are involved with the Colt or Hex ecosystem are, to me, educational inputs for new crypto users that teach them not only the history of cryptocurrency, digital assets, Bitcoin, the things before that, what things have been suffered along the way, and how those things have been altered, and how we see the future, and what must be done to make that future occur by our right actions today. So, on behalf of Tekken, it's time to eat, boys. So, you ready for this? I think he's ready. So, talk about Colt. Share this video. Check me out. Let's do good things. So, on behalf of the many, I thank you for your attention. We'll present this as an audio recording in some manner or form, so look for that wherever you find Tekken. Stay blessed. Giggles. Do doctor things.